What got you doing this stuff?
Practice. I mean, when I was in art school, that's what we did. We would paint from life, paint the model, and it's good practice. It's a lot of fun. It gets people together. A little bit like having a party every week. And we have a potluck food table over there with lots of good stuff to eat. It's quite a weekly event. So right now I'm mixing color, various flesh tones. There's not a whole lot of time to lose. 3 hours isn't a lot of time to get a painting done.
How long have you been doing that?
Kind of most of my life. But it's work. I mean, these people who make a living at it work hard. They really do.
I try to paint every day.
I do it every day. I never painted before. About 1997, I took a class, and I just loved it.
Painting is not easy. Basically, that's the bottom line. It's really a lot of work and a lot of practice, and I don't practice enough.
Oh.
I go out year-round in the wintertime too. I was out this past winter. And, a lot of snow. There's a certain sense of accomplishment when you're working outside, especially in the wintertime, because the conditions are much tougher than, let's say, May or June.
I come here, and I have another painting group in the Wednesday morning, usually for 3 hours. And then I do life drawing at the PAM in Provincetown. I do that every Tuesday and Friday. And I have a sculpture live model on Thursday mornings.
Well, I mean, I started to paint about 10 years ago after I retired from the working world, and I'd always wanted to do it.
It's very relaxing. It's fun. But I am a beginner, as you'll note. Everybody's a beginner. That's for sure. You will learn until the day we die.
I'm not a professional painter. I work during the day, so to me it's just a hobby and a pleasure.
Oh, I paint for enjoyment. I work as a painting conservator and a custom framer, and every day I am required to have creativity on demand for my work. And even though I love the work, it's business, and this is pleasure for me.
But the figure is really my thing.
I love to paint the figure. The human figure is very difficult. You can always tell when you're not doing it right. It shows up very quickly. You need to know anatomy.
I love painting the figure as well. Mostly portraits, but full figures is also.
And I've always been enthralled with faces, so I try to get the essence of the person. I really try to get the feeling of what I'm looking at.
I came here because it was an opportunity to paint with a group of people from the figure as often as I could.
What's the difference between this and plein air?
The lighting in here is much more consistent. Once the sun goes down, it stays pretty much the same, the duration. I was painting outside this afternoon, which is why I was late, but that light shifted dramatically as the house went from half light to complete shadow, and all the tree shadows moved down toward me in this direction. But you have to pick and choose if you're painting outdoors. You don't want to be chasing the light.
Why can't you take a photograph?
Well, you can, but photos, I like to think of a camera as a machine it's absolutely indiscriminating in the way it sees things.
I'd heard one artist that said about cameras, they lie.
Yeah, the darks are too dark, the blues tend to be too blue.
They have no discrimination.
Right.
And they'll say, oh, that's shadow, that's the darkest dark, so it's going to be black. And that light is the lightest light, that's going to be white. Well, the human eye, which is binocular, sees much more. And the camera is monocular, it sees a lot less. And so that's one reason why people who paint from life get livelier,
Life
more
meaning
truthful.
plein air painting.
Plein air painting, or even people who paint like we're painting from life now. Our paintings of the model are going to be a lot livelier than if we took a photo and did the photo in a studio setting. So.
And I think almost anyone that you speak to here will tell you that they would prefer to work from life, and it's really important to do it. It's very important, and you can only work from photographic references if you have enough background in working from life, because it will fill in what the photographs are not telling you, which is kind of a lot.
I paint outdoors, and then I paint the figure indoors. Putting people into the landscape, into the environment is what I love doing.
I like painting from life. For me, this is like plein air painting indoors.
What is the most interesting is you have a room full of 15 people all looking at the same person, and you're going to get 15 different paintings of the same person.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that intriguing? I think that's fabulous.
I mean, you should probably be talking to somebody here who does this a whole lot better than I do. They probably have a different methodology, but mine is just constant adjustment. So right now I'm just wiping things out so that I don't have a lot of paint on the surface. I have much more room for error here.
I'm looking for a composition within the drawing as well as a composition within the color. So I'm composing color as well as line and form all together at the same time.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before.
I know, I'm so unique. For me, color is the most important.
I'm a little different than Susan. I'm more of a tonal painter. I enjoy the patterns of light and dark and don't rely so much on color.
After hanging around with Susan for a while, she's infecting me with this idea that there are colors.
Have you?
So I've been experimenting with the light side, you know. Anyway, so I've started actually experimenting with starting with different colored backgrounds, and then just trying to respond to that as I go along, and then this will all morph gradually as I go.
I start with the lights on a dark background, and I get good depth and contrast right off the bat. Whereas if I paint on a white background, I have a very hard time building up that contrast. It doesn't always work out, but it's great when it does. It feels great when it comes out the way you want it to.
What I really like about a painting is that sometimes you don't have to paint as much as you just got a few marks that really suggest the form, and then maybe a little place where you lose an edge where a mark is smudged, but then it lets that finger come forward so that you're creating the illusion of depth on what is otherwise a two-dimensional plane. That's what you're trying to do, is get a sense of space and presence and light and life on a flat surface. It starts out. Everybody is having a great time, and it's really fun to see all the different models and to walk around the room and see the different approaches to every painting. I've never been in an atelier situation before, studio, and it's pretty wonderful.
I'm doing what I love. Yes, and I've done a lot of other things, so
Good.
yeah, I'm where I want to be.
I am thinking of nothing. I'm relaxing into the pose, into the mood, into the whole scheme. It's like at this moment all that matters is the crinkle in the dress. You can't think of anything else. You don't want to.
If you put it off and then finally came to it, you know, you don't want to give it up. And as everyone else has said, you can't imagine a life where you couldn't do this. Let's see, I think I'm gonna maybe try to get some of her face. Let's see what happens.
I'm a stonemason. That's what I actually do. This is just a way to relax after a day's work.
to get a good painting is good. Making friends is fun. Getting to know some of the other artists, that's probably in some ways more rewarding than the painting. I like that part of things.
What do you learn from other artists?
Different ways of working, different senses of humor, different things about business or life experiences, things like that. It's been a great time. I haven't missed many of these classes since I began.
You can't help but learn a lot from the painters around you. You know, you pick up a lot of tips on mixing and mediums, and everybody has their own favorite artist supplies that they use. So it's a great environment to learn in, and you just have to push forward and keep trying.
When painting, there's nothing else going on in my mind. It's only painting. And unless Jerome tells a joke or something's going on over there that's interesting, but pretty much the painting absorbs every bit of myself. But I get to paint with all these other folks that do it for a living, so it's kind of a treat.
So when an artist who is used to going out and painting alone seeks the company of others, he's looking for someone who speaks his language. Because we talk differently and about different things when we're painting. We talk about value and temperature and color and line, and the general public doesn't care about those things. So when we come together and we can talk about that, we feel like someone understands us.
Thank you, that was very nice.
Well, it's true.
Boys, you can come on in now. You can blow now if you want to. I'm through.